Hey, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to the Young and Spirit Led podcast. Man, it's been a long time. But hey, I'm your host, Ken the Prophet. I'm back. And this is the co-host.
Reese. What's up,
Yeah,
y'all?
hey, shout out Reese, man. Like I said, when I stepped down, man, he held it down. I saw him and Josh over here just talking and yapping, and I was like, man, Reese carrying it on, man. I just want to appreciate him again just for holding it down while I was gone. Appreciate that, bro.
Thank you, bro. It means a lot.
Hey, for those of y'all who don't know, I also want to congratulate Reese. That boy done graduated in in my opinion, one of the hardest majors you could possibly do, computer science. Congratulations. Bro got his bachelor's. Big dog. He unk status now.
Glory to God. Hallelujah.
But I know y'all seen the title already. We got a pretty interesting topic today on faith and family. So real quick, gonna hit y'all with the focus verse coming out of 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. But if anyone does not provide for his own, and especially for those of his household, he has denied the faith and is worse than an unbeliever. Other translations say worse than an infidel. So what is the Lord saying here? He's talking. He's not just talking about money. He's talking about other things. He's talking about any way that you can provide for your family. And what's one of the most important ways we can provide for our family as men of God? We're called to be the priest and the prophet of the homes, the head of the household. So if you're not providing spiritually, if you're not edifying your household, if you're not doing those things that God is requiring you to do, you're not praying for your household, you find it easier to do a lot of different things, you wrong, you out of line.
Yeah.
Your house is out of order. And the biggest thing I was doing, because being newly married is tough, especially when you add expecting a child, pregnancy into the midst of those things, and then you got life beating you down in many different ways. You got financial issues. The list just goes on and on. Biggest thing I was doing was I wasn't really taking the time out to really seek God, and I knew I needed to step down for a season because God was preparing me for things. He was taking me through trials, taking me through the wilderness. I needed to prepare for what's to come ahead because I'm expecting to be a father. And so one of the biggest things that he revealed to me was I'm sitting here edifying so many people in the church, preaching and praying for people in the church, but I can't even do it in my own home. And so that made me a hypocrite in God's eyes. And that convicted me. And that's when I knew things at home wasn't getting better. So I had to go ahead and step down from all ministry positions. I ain't even do no performing and whatnot. And man, God has been good through those times. It wasn't even a season where I needed to step down due to like disobedience. More so, it was really just a season where my home, I needed to get my home in order, and God wanted to, put me through these trials and tribulations to not only strengthen my faith, but to prepare me for the next season that I'm going into.
Yeah. And I was walking right through with him through the whole thing, man, and I seen the process of how the Lord just kind of revealed those things to him. And in that verse that he brought up in 1 Timothy, it's just a general principle that you need to understand when you come to God, that God's number one priority when you get married and have a family is your family and your wife. And ministry in the church comes sacred, because ministry is a lifestyle. So you're always ministering whether you know it or not. But if you begin to elevate, the public ministry versus the private ministry at home, you're out of line. And we see, that happens. It's easy to do. And this is why Paul talks about in 1 Corinthians 7. Like, people wonder why Paul never really got married. It was because he knew that when he got married, his obligation to God was to his family and his wife now. And therefore, he wouldn't be able to be as free for his ministry. So I don't know how it happened. I don't know how he came to that decision. I don't know if the Lord specifically told him not to. He was just like, you know what? I'm just have to be single. Yeah. And we're not saying that everybody gonna Paul it. Yeah. Most people not gonna Paul it, but most people, you got to realize what you're making, what decision that you're making when you choose to come into a covenant relationship with your wife. That is your discipline and obedience to God is to be a faithful husband to your wife, and when you have children, is to be a faithful husband and a father to your family, and then the ministry in the church comes second. So I think it's not that God views one over the other; it's that everything has to be in alignment for the blessing to flow.
Yeah, and I like that you said that, Reese, because I want to take a moment. I'm man enough to admit that I definitely didn't weigh everything out. Like I knew that it was God's purpose for me to marry, because I just didn't understand to the depth. Right? We say a lot. Marriage is not about yourself, but to what extent? And when I tell you, I thought I was humble enough. I thought I was sanctified enough. I thought I was ready. But and truth is, you're never really ready. But most people don't know to the extent of how much you have to deny yourself in marriage, and how much it's not about you anymore. God doesn't care if what your wife did or what your wife said to make you angry. He's still holding you accountable. Just like Adam and Eve in the garden. God didn't care that Eve ate the apple first and was deceived first. He asked, where was Adam? He asked Adam. Yeah. And so that is men, we have to understand, especially, God even said it, they're the more gentle creatures, and they desire more, they need more care. They need more. And that's where you got to humble yourself a lot more. I prayed 2 prayers. I prayed, God, help me to be more like your son, Jesus. And I also prayed, what's the other one? Examine me. And those prayers didn't look like just an instant little thing, man. Being more like Jesus, I promise you, marriage will get you to look more like Jesus. Yeah. Because it involves a lot of forgiveness, hard conversations, and a lot of different things. And also it's a mirror. So a lot of the times I was going through all that stuff, it was really just a big mirror pointing right back at me of my own problems that I needed to fix. It wasn't more so, and yeah, because I had problems she needs to fix, but I had problems that I needed to fix that I didn't even know of. Wow. And just with doing that, going through marriage, all these different things, going through these hardships, especially being a father, it's like, man, a lot of things started happening, man. My job, I ain't gonna say too much about it, you know what I'm saying, because I was real close with the people I was working with. But let's just say, got told to take the day off, and 2 months later, I'm still not working. I had to quit, and I hadn't had a real job since January. And, I just, how am I going to provide? How am I going to do these things? A lot of stress came on, and God was still there. ROTC, busted height and weight. And now I got like a few months to get back into regulation before I get kicked out of the program, and I can't be a second lieutenant anymore. I still prevailed. God still prevailed in those moments. Yeah. I ended up coming back and making height and weight. And now I just got hired on for a full-time job that'll work with my schedule, but it's night shift. And to be honest, Reese, I didn't want to take that night shift job at first. Yeah. Because I was like, man, that's going to be tough. But then I had to realize, if Jesus said, husbands, not Jesus, but in the Bible it says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church. What does that look like? Doing that night shift when you don't want to provide for your family. Yeah, bro. And just a lot of things that was going on during that season. I know we got more time, later on to do all of those different things. But the thing is, men of God, and I know, Reese may not be able to attest for all of these, but still though, you can still attribute that verse to your other family. Yeah, man. Like your mom, your dad, your brother, sister, all these different people that you can influence and talk to. How does that look like to you, given an unmarried perspective? Yeah, from an unmarried perspective, when they talk about, family, faith and family, like obviously I'm single, I don't got a wife or children. So who are those that that the Bible would consider as my own? I think for me personally, it would be, my family, which is the church, the local church that he's asked me to be a part of. And, that looks like, my brothers and sisters that I can help out, Right. And it looks like maybe somebody else's kids that I get to sow into and pour into. And that looks like me interceding over other people's families for right now. And that looks like, me trying to contribute in whatever way I can to benefit others while I'm in this season of singleness and while I'm giving myself over to, the Lord. And I think
And even back at home, you know, my family, you know, their faith, they still need to come to Jesus too. So
Right.
it looks like me sowing into them and, you know, speaking the word of God into them and praying over them and interceding over their lives. And, you know, just taking care of my own in the spiritual realm until God gives me my own in the natural realm. And the reason that God does this because he teaches you how to do it for other people so that when you have your own, you could do it for yourself. So it's not like I'm wasting my time. It's like I'm getting trained. God is teaching me. Right. God is showing me how to be selfless, how to give myself over, how to love others or more than yourself so that when the time does come and, you know, you are granted and rewarded to, you know, a family of your own, it's not going to be an easy transition, but it ain't just going to be like you never experienced it before. You can learn now how to obey 1 Timothy 5:8 and, you know, take care of your own family. And that looks like if you don't got a family, it looks like taking care of the people at your church. Right. Learn to live selfless. I mean, there's so many ways you can learn to be selfless and live in humility outside of having a wife. Right. Now, a wife will take you to another level of humility and another level of sanctification. But, man, you could be trained. You can ask God to train you right now for that stage. So, yeah.
That's big, too. And, man, he hit the nail on all of it. Just like I said, family, man. But let's get into another part of this, man. Just hearing, right? What's the most vital body part? Like if you were in a fight, or, you know, obviously video games, right? A lot of people play shooting games. I for one am Call of Duty lover. Yeah. I just straight up grind Call of Duty all the time. What's the place you want to aim for the most? It's the head, right? Yeah. So where is Satan gonna go? He's not gonna go to your wife. He will in some sorts. He's not gonna go to anybody else, but he's gonna go to the head.
Yeah.
He wants to take out the head because why? The head is so important. The head is something that's putting it together. And what are men? The head of the household.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and, you know, I know we did the last deliverance testimony on me. For those of y'all who don't know, I really didn't go through too much deliverance when I first came to Christ. I don't think that it was in God's will for it to happen in the beginning of my walk. You know, God really had me on a solid foundation at the beginning of my walk. Yeah. And, you know, we just created a solid foundation. I think that God does many different people, because like Reese did all his deliverance in the beginning. Mm-hmm. But I feel like God does.
Well, not really though, because before I even came to Short Creek, it was like I had 2 years under my belt, you know, walking in my walk. So it really wasn't I got saved and I got delivered.
Yeah.
You know, I was still building my faith, and then I was ready to get to that point. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, my bad then. I thought the way Pastor Ron explained it made it seem like
that's just when I first came to Short Creek. Okay. But I already was having some of the word in me. Yeah. But the principle you're saying is that God necessarily doesn't deliver everybody just right off the bat. You got to be ready for deliverance before you can experience it. But keep going with it.
So yeah, like, you know, obviously, right, God gave me the grace to start my ministry, do all these incredible things in the beginning of my walk. We built that foundation, right? And then once we got that foundation built, right, I had something to fall back on whenever I went through that tough time. Once that happened, right, you know, I had that first deliverance, right? Mm-hmm. Everything was going well, everything was going fine. But like I said, I still kept asking the Lord to examine me because I knew that there was still work to be done. Mm-hmm. So, man, just this one night, man, me and my wife get into a big, heated, blowed up argument. It was tough. She went over to some friends, and, you know, we just got away from each other for the day. Well, really for the weekend. And I just knew that I was still struggling with a lot of things, mentally, physically, emotional, spiritually. And this night, you know, I had it started off with a bunch of different stuff I'm not going to get into. Nothing crazy, but I started manifesting. Mm-hmm. You know, whatever was in me, it was its time to go.
Yeah.
And a church member of ours pointed that out, and then I called Reese in the middle of the manifestation, and man, Reese and Kendall just straight on the way. But man, just going into that night, it was a lot of things that I had to repent of. It was a lot of things that I didn't notice. There was a lot of things built up, and I knew the real reason why I was going through a lot of different things, right? God is preparing me for a new season. God is preparing me for a lot of new things. God is preparing me to elevate me into the next step, which may not even be public ministry. It's going to be my home ministry, because I have a son on the way. He's literally have 2 weeks left. And so when we go into this thing, right, where I needed that deliverance, and the enemy is just like, remember when we was going through that, like the enemy was literally telling his plan
Yeah, he literally showed
through me, like straight up. He
telling what he was gonna do, what he was there for.
and it was like what, like almost 50 minutes long to an hour, almost an hour long.
Yeah,
about
man.
2 hours.
Yeah, tense.
And everything was just so crazy, and the enemy was just telling me about his plan to destroy my family, and he really didn't highlight my wife. He highlighted me. You know, the enemy's plan is to get us, right?
Yeah.
And I know that it looks different for everyone else, but just the biggest thing is, as the man of the household, you have to be the one praying, you have to be the one fasting, you have to be the one reading, you have to be the one doing all of these different things, because the enemy is after you.
Yeah.
If he can get you, it's already game over.
True. And even you see, like in the garden, like, okay, of course that the serpent talked to Eve first, but what was his main goal? His main goal was to get to Adam through Eve.
Right.
Because like you said, if Adam would have never ate the fruit, we probably never in this predicament right now. You know what I'm saying? But because Adam got the command, Adam was the one more spiritually mature. Adam was the one that was responsible to God. You know, when he disobeyed, everything fell out of alignment.
Everything fell out of alignment.
I understand, like, you know what? The devil knows, man, if Ken stays on track, if he stays on the right path, if his faith doesn't break, you know what? I may be able to mess with their family a little bit, but I'm not going to have too much ground.
Too much ground.
But if I can get, you know, use whatever I need to get to the man of the household, and I can get his faith compromised, I know I got him, I got the wife, and I got the children.
Right.
So you got to understand that when you say you want to be a man, like, understand what that comes with, bro. It's not like, it's not that, oh yeah, I get to have the say so in the house and I get to rule over. It's like, no, you get to be the one under everybody, and you get the one that gets to hold all that responsibility.
Man.
And you get the one that God's gonna look at for an answer when your family is out of whack.
Right.
So who really, like, you say you want that blessing to be the man and the head of your household, but do you want the responsibility that comes with it also?
Yeah.
So you got to understand, you know, you got to understand what you're asking for. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to say, understand what you're asking for when you want to say, beat your chest and say, I'm the man of the household.
It's a good thing, too. And I want to highlight that part, because you said it along the lines of taking the responsibility, right?
Yeah.
What did Jesus Christ do when he was on the cross? He took all of our responsibility. He took everything that we did, all of our sin. He took that and he dealt with it. He died for it. That's the same thing. Now, let's differentiate the two. Obviously, it's not the same as what Jesus Christ did on the cross, but it's an example, an example of what the man has to do. You want to know what it feels like to be the man of the house? You carry all the burdens. Your family is happy and smiling, knowing that the bills are paid. They don't even have to worry about the bills. And you're the one that still has to worry about, I need to get up to go to work the next day to provide. It's really a thing, right? And it's crazy how God works. He gave us the example to follow in every aspect of our life. Yeah. Whether we're single, whether we're married, widowed, divorced, whatever, he gave us the example, and that was Jesus Christ. And the thing that I want to nail this podcast topic on is wherever you at, whether you're married or not, because we've already said it. Even if you're single, you still have a family that you can take care of spiritually. It's that Jesus Christ is the example and the standard that everybody should be holding to.
That's so good, man. That's so good, because, Jesus was not married. Right. But yet he is still the perfect example. So how does that look? I mean, it just looks like whatever task God has given you in the season of your life, do it with your full heart and understand the responsibility that comes with it. Don't look for excuses. Don't even look for handouts. Look for God's guidance, his empowerment and strength, and look for him when you choose to obey him. Look for him, his grace, to give you the strength to fulfill the command that he's giving you.
Yeah.
So
The biggest thing during this season, I like that you said that too, because God really, he didn't take a lot of people out of my corner, but he made it hard for a lot of people in my corner to get to me.
yeah, sure, true. And he'll do that.
God took he took everything from me without taking everything from me. He took a lot of things from me. He took a job. He took my job. He scared me to death. I almost lost my second lieutenant rank. Mm-hmm. He took everything from me without fully taking it from me. And it's the crazy thing is, I said this yesterday, man, during the wilderness season, during these times of trial, we like to say, where are you, God? Where are you, God? But it's those moments where he's the closest to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the crazy thing is we're just like Peter on the water. We're looking to the left and our right instead of looking straight forward ahead at Jesus. And it's like we keep asking, where are you? Where are you? But it's that you're looking to the left and the right when you see the waves rising and you're not focused on him.
Wow.
See, if we just stop taking our eyes off him, right, everything would be so much better.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, gotta. Not all the time do you go through the wilderness, do you go through a season of trial and tribulation through disobedience. Sometimes you do, but most of the time it's because you've either lost focus on God or he's trying to elevate you. He's trying to give you something. The olives still need to be crushed. The wineskins need to be pressed. The sword still needs to be forged in the fire for better.
Yeah, bro. There is no going up in the kingdom unless you go down.
Right.
That's right. God's training method. I mean, the way God educates a believer is to take him through some prescribed tribulation so that person understands a deeper revelation of himself and of who God is, because you learn things about yourself when you go through the wilderness. Like, oh, I thought I was strong in this area of faith, but really I'm not.
Really,
but you also learn things about God. It's like you don't really know that God is a provider until you don't have no other resource or income.
What?
And the only thing you really can depend on when you wake up in the morning is God.
Exclamation point.
So it's like I knew God was a provider. Like, I heard people say it, but now I know for myself, like, you know what? He really is a provider.
Right.
Like, I know I wasn't supposed to make it through the season on top. Yeah.
Shout out to my wife, though. Man, still pregnant. She was still working.
Yeah.
Working all she could. But, man, when I tell you, it ain't nothing but God. The reason I can still say I still got a roof over my head. Still got 2 vehicles. Still got food in the fridge. Still got all of our baby stuff that we need. Still got a bed. Still got clothes. Like, it wasn't nothing but God during this season where I literally wasn't making no money, didn't have no job until I started working with Pastor Ron. That we're still here today, man. I still got gas in my vehicle, man.
And it's like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Like,
right.
you in the fire, but when
he right there with you.
He right there with you. And then when you come out, you don't even look like what you've been through, though.
Right.
Like, you still like I'm still good. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. That's how it is walking with God, though. You should never look like what you've been through, bro. When you really go through a season with God, because somehow, some way, he takes you through it, bro, and you come out better, bro. Even when it sucks in the midst of it.
Right. And that's the biggest thing we got to understand, man.
Yeah. So
hold on to that, y'all. Jesus Christ is the standard for everything.
Yeah.
Whether you're married, single, divorced, widow, whatever you are, Jesus Christ is still the standard. And also, what did we just say? It just slipped my mind.
God, family, then ministry.
God, family, then ministry. That's the biggest thing too.
Yeah,
don't let ministry take over your family. Don't let ministry take over your family.
Yes, you're responsible to the family first.
Right. And honestly, I want to say to any man that, is man enough to give up ministry for a season to focus on his family is strong.
No shame in that, bro.
No shame in that at all.
God applies that.
I want to speak to every man right now that's actually dealing with that has the pressure of everybody on their back, that's worried about what everyone's going to say, that's worried about everything, right? Focus on your family, because that's your biggest ministry. People may see your biggest ministry as your title, your position, whatever you're doing in the church, but God sees your biggest ministry as your family. And, the biggest thing we have to do at the end of the day is to lay our life down and love our wives and love our family as Christ loved the church. Mm-hmm. What did Christ do for the church that he loved so much, which is us? He laid his life down.
Yeah.
That's the same thing we have to do.
Yeah.
We running out of time though, man. It's big. I want y'all to I know y'all know Josh. He was on the podcast. Nothing's wrong with him, but I do want y'all to pray for him because he's he's providing. So I want y'all to pray for him as well.
He obeying 1 Timothy 5:8.
Right, he is obeying 1 Timothy 5:8, which
taking care of his own.
It's crazy that everything lined up the way
it
did.
Yeah.
But appreciate y'all for tuning into the podcast. We may switch days because, like I said, I'm about to start working the night shift. So we'll update y'all on that soon. And also, my son is on the way, so
nephew on the way.
I don't know if Tuesday is really gonna work that much. But
yeah, we're gonna have to pray through it.
Yeah,
man.
we got to pray through it. Once we pray through it, we'll let y'all know something. But we'll see y'all next time. Love y'all.
Shout out Jacob.